This is Mike Lindell. If you're unfamiliar, he is a nutter butter of epic proportions, absolutely obsessed with what he calls election meddling and election, what's the word he uses? Election crimes, he calls it. Yeah, he's obsessed with election crimes, right? Election crimes that aren't happening, but he believes they are. So he ran for the RNC chair, which is not a technically elected government position, but it's an elected position. So it's a private company technically. The Republican National Committee is. So he runs for the chair of the Republican National Committee, and he loses terribly. Ronna McDaniel won by like a mile and a half. But she said, "You know what? You got 3 out of 170 votes, so sure, I'll give you an election crimes bureau as part of the RNC. It's all yours, Mike." And he's, created graphics for it. He's got a little budget of, I don't know, $1,000 a year or something. I don't even know what his budget is. And he's been kind of going around doing a tour, telling people how convinced he is that election crimes have been happening this whole time. Personally, I believe he's doing this because he wants to convince everybody he's crazy, because if they believe that he's crazy and or that he really does believe this stuff, he's less likely to get in trouble. He's less likely to lose the lawsuits that he's facing right now, the billion-dollar lawsuit against Dominion and the who knows how big the lawsuit's going to be for Smartmatic when it comes along, and others. So if he can convince everybody that he really believes all this nonsense, then he believes that he'll be home free. I don't think it's going to be that cut and dry. But anyway, he's been doing this tour around the country, everywhere he can, advertising this new thing he calls a WMD, a wireless monitoring device, and claims that it's going to prove election fraud. It's complicated. I don't even want to get into it. It's just it's another way for him to grift his audience out of money, of course. So let's listen to him at the Reawaken America tour, see what he has to say here. We're starting when he walks out on stage. Check this out. Oh, and while we listen, we're going to play some Final Fantasy VIII. I'm very, very early game right now. I'm just, kind of wandering around talking to people and stuff and grinding, getting some extra magic, stuff like that. Okay.
I have really, really great news I just heard 2 minutes ago, okay? So I'm going to add this to my speech. You all know when I ran for RNC chair, right?
Yeah, again, he ran for RNC chair against Ronna McDaniel. He got I think he got 3 votes, actually. 3 out of 168, I think. I forget exactly how many it was, but it wasn't that many. I thought that was my seed uniform. My mistake. Okay.
Well, God told me to run. He never said I was going to win, and there was another reason for being there. Well, when we planted the seeds back then of a resolution that the RNC they would pass. We would hope they would pass someday. That was paper ballots, hand counted, same day voting.
I swear to God, I just heard the dude say gay per ballots. Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video. And by the by, when there's full motion video on this game, I have to remove it. So you're going to see a full-blown thing of Mike Lindell. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I know that's not pleasant. But these people are copyright hawks, so.
We planted the seeds back then of a resolution that the RNC they would pass. We would hope they would pass someday. That was paper ballots, hand.
I could have sworn he said gaper ballots. Maybe it's on my mind. Maybe it's on me. Maybe secretly I've got the word gay knocking around up there somewhere.
Counted, same day voting, no machines, precinct strategy, and signature required. That resolution just passed 5 minutes ago. Praise
Okay, now hang on. Let's listen to this more clearly. Which resolution passed? Again, you have to take every word out of this guy's mouth with a grain of salt because he lies for a living. He lives in a fantasy land. So you can never know if what he's actually saying is really true or not. So take it all with a big, hefty dose of salt here. But let's listen and see what he said one more time.
When we planted the seeds back then of a resolution that the RNC, they would pass, we would hope they would pass someday, that was paper ballots, hand counted, same day voting, no machines, precinct strategy, and signature required. That resolution just passed 5 minutes ago.
All right, that resolution, I'm not sure what resolution and with whom. Is he saying that this is like now the official stance of the Republican Party? Is that the point he's trying to get at? I don't know. But paper ballots, hand counted, just those two things right there are a recipe to mess everything up. Let me tell you a little something about human beings. We make mistakes constantly. Human error is a massive problem, okay? When we have hand-counted anything, there are going to be mistakes. Why would we have paper ballots? Why wouldn't we have, systems where we can type this stuff in, like type in our votes or whatever, and be done with it? Hell, we can type in what we want, and it prints it out along the side so that we have a good record of it as we go. Why wouldn't we use that? That's ridiculous for you to have a problem with something like that. The paper ballots, hand-counted thing, and, that's stupid enough on its own, but same-day voting? Why are we doing same-day voting? And I guess he didn't say it because maybe it's not part of the ballot. Or not part of the resolution, quote unquote. But there's another thing that Mike Lindell's been pushing for, which is same day counting. So we start counting today and we're done by the end of the day, and we know who won by the end of the day. Not considering the possibility that maybe there are, 150 million ballots in the country, and it's nearly impossible to count all 150 in one day. You ever knock that one around, Mike? Of course he hasn't. Dude doesn't care. The things that he just listed it's just fantasy land shit. One more thing, I'm sorry. The reason he has a problem with this, as I'm sure you've already surmised, is because he thinks that the Maduro regime is like getting involved in some way and secretly like helping us count ballots or some other nonsense like that. Or the Hugo Chavez whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's why he's doing all of this. He is convinced that there's somebody trying to get one over on somebody else, and he won't be the victim. It's just absurd, man. Come on.
Paper ballots, hand counted, same day voting, no machines, precinct strategy, and signature required. That resolution just passed 5 minutes ago.
Again, don't believe a word out of his mouth. I am not convinced at all, but okay.
Praise the Lord. That's amazing. And you all say, well, what does that mean? What that means is when we've had, and you're going to see in my talk here, we've had over 300,000 people on the ground for 2.5 years. I have out there going to try and get laws changed back or to get back to same-day voting, get rid of the machines. And every time we get pushback by Republicans.
Wow, Republicans are pushing back against you getting rid of the machines? Yeah, Mike Lindell waged war on, quote-unquote, the machines. Like we're in Terminator 2 or something like that. It's just ridiculous, dude. Let me find. There's a really famous clip from Lindell. 1 second. Okay, this is Mike Lindell saying he has cyber guys who can look inside voting machines in real time to determine if there's voter fraud in real time as it's happening. This is from early November 2022.
And I'm telling everyone out there, we are watching from every angle. There's people in every state, every county, every precinct, Brandon. Remember, they might think you can't look and see what's going inside that black box, but we can now in real time through something called the Edison Report, everybody.
No. The Edison Report, if you're unfamiliar, oh my God, I'm dying. I should have been paying attention. The Edison Report is basically exit survey polling type of deal. So when somebody exits their voting precinct, you know, AP News or Edison, actually, Edison Reporting, that's the name of the company, Edison Reporting, has people outside of certain specific precincts, mostly bellwether counties that are reliable most of the time. They have them outside of the precincts and they ask people as they come out, like, who did you vote for? Do you want to tell us? Is this something that you're willing to, like, lay down on us? Just tell us who you voted for. And sometimes people pass them up and ignore them. Sometimes people stop and tell them who they voted for because they really care. And sometimes they lie. I mean, you know, there's nothing stopping anybody from lying about it. That's what the Edison Report actually is. And Mike Lindell is saying we can look in real time in these black boxes, quote unquote, whatever the hell a black box is, to determine if there's cheating real time. Through exit polling? It's not even accurate. It just gives us a general rough idea of what we're dealing with. What the hell are you talking about, Mike? Seriously, dude lives in like a delusional fantasy.
Inside that black box. But we can now in real time through something called the Edison Report, everybody.
He can look inside voting machines in real time with something called the Edison Report, exit polling. Good job.
We have cyber guys watching this.
Oh, the cyber guys are watching the Edison Report. Okay.
I looked at a thing today. It was on my Twitter back from November of 2020. And they showed CNN 20,000 votes dropping right off of Donald Trump's total in real time. You guys, votes don't go.
That happened once, and the reason that happened was because there was an error on the front end of this system. So we've got a front end and a back end, right? The database is where all of the vote totals are entered, and there's usually a website like DecisionDeskHQ.com or whatever that pulls data from that database through an API that tells us, like, what's on there. Well, the API was misreading the database information that it was given. Somebody mistyped information, not in the database, but in the front end. So, yeah, it looked as though there were large totals just one single time that were added, and it was corrected within minutes. But all it took was one screenshot from one person showing that it went from 0 to 20,000 in like 3 seconds. And then a minute later, it went back to what it was supposed to be. Guy lives in a fantasy. Really.
Oh, in reverse. These are computer manipulation algorithms.
No, they're not. I am what one might refer to as a cyber guy, okay? I was a software engineer for 6 years before YouTube. I know how all this stuff works. It's not computer manipulated algorithms.
Don't go in reverse. These are computer manipulation algorithms. So what I'm telling you is this election, it's all eyes. We have all the camera angles. Now everyone would say, well, Mike, why are you telling the bad guys right now? Well, I'm telling them, Brandon, because the way I look at it, it's gonna be a win-win, because the ones where we can override the algorithms are gonna be there. They're gonna win, and then also the ones they don't. All of it, we got it all under camera. Well, maybe this time around the judges and the left media and maybe even the right media, Fox News and Newsmax will actually report.
Dude, this guy lives in the fantasy land of all fantasy lands. This is crazy. Some of the stuff this guy is saying is unglued from reality for real, but oh my God, is it entertaining to listen to. Holy Christ on a cracker. He has no clue what he's talking about. No clue. And honestly, I'm not even convinced that he believes any of this. I really think he's just trying to protect himself from litigation, which is coming. It's on its way. Any second now. He's actually going to lose to Dominion. I'm 99% convinced. Unless he can convince everybody that he is crazy. And you know what? For $1 billion, I'll convince everybody I'm crazy. Sure. Somebody says, oh, Mike, how is he so dumb? It's a good question. I'm not convinced he's dumb in all seriousness. I don't think he's dumb. You don't get to the level that Mike Lindell got to by being dumb. He's not dumb. I think he's pretending. I think it's fake. In this man's humble opinion. Let me know what you guys think. It's a question for the ages. Yeah, we'll never know if he's really this dumb or not. But yeah, before we continue on with his his Reawaken America tour thing that we were watching, one more video of Mike Lindell I wanted to watch, 45 seconds long. Should give you a little bit of context for this dude and the ridiculous stuff that he believes. By the way, this came out early March 2022. He's been working on it 5 months allegedly. So this was like a year and a half, 2 years ago at this point. So.
Action, actually, I'm announcing it here. I announced it on my program. Y'all watch FrankSpeech.com.
Oh, he's got to get his stupid plug-in. Come on.
But it's a class action lawsuit against all machines.
Oh boy, he's suing all machines. He's done with machines. He's suing them. Sick of how they've treated him, and he's going to sue the pants off these machines. Or the circuits off these machines, or whatever it is you sue off of machines. He's going to sue it off of them. This guy's ridiculous. He's a joke of a human being. Anyway, I'm sorry. All right, so now you have that context for how he's acted in the past. Keep listening to his Reawaken America tour here.
And that's not going to happen anymore.
Oh, hang on. Let me step back. Point is, he's had it out for machines for a long time, right?
You're going to see in my talk here, we've had over 300,000 people on the ground for 2.5 years. I have out there going to try and get laws changed back or to get back to same-day voting, get rid of the machines. And every time we get pushback by Republicans.
Because it's stupid.
And that's not going to happen anymore. Or we're going to call them out every time it does happen and say, this is what the RNC wants. They want same-day voting, precinct strategy level, no machines, paper ballots.
Okay, it sounds like what he succeeded in getting changed was the Republican position. The Republican position is they want same-day voting and blah, 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 blah. That didn't really change anything, ultimately. Except it made the Republican Party even more psychotic than it was before, if that's even possible. That's about it. That's about all that changed. So, good job.
And counted. So, I'm going to... I don't know if you all know about an event I just had. It was called the Election Crime Bureau Summit. You all been there? Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go through the plan. I announced a plan.
Right. If you didn't see the Election Crime Bureau Summit, I watched some of it, but it was only like 5 minutes. And it was just, God, dude, it was ridiculous. Yes, he held an Election Crimes Bureau Summit. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just painful. It's so stupid.
That we're right now... that's going to secure our elections, and it does it immediately. I want to show you a video. This is a big lie that they told us. I got to take you back in time Remember, another thing we got pushback whenever we went to these counties and everywhere we went. Hey, we got cyber evidence. We've got evidence. Look what happened. And every time they would go, our machines are not online.
Yes, exactly. The machines aren't online. Are you getting it yet? The machines were never online. The cyber evidence he claimed to have makes no sense because the machines were not online. Okay, they were not connected to the internet. You poor fool.
Machines are not online. Our machines aren't online. It's impossible. So,
dude, just think about it, okay? We are, God, how far past the 2020 election are we now? Years and years and years past the 2020 election, right? And this guy is still crying about the 2020 election, about what happened, about the fact that he was not, wasn't allowed to be, in the room when people were, I don't even know, what's he even upset about anymore? My God, get over yourself, Mike.
I want you to look at a little bit of this video.
Ooh, he's got video, okay. This is high production stuff right here. See, you can see it's high production because you can tell that they're using an Apple computer.
Do you swear to tell the truth or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I mean, is this even real, or did they make this video? Did they, use a video editor or whatever to make it? I would not put it past Mike Lindell and all of the, these QAnon conspiracy theorists to do stuff like that. I wouldn't put it past them for a second to just fabricate stuff, to twist it out of proportion, to lie, to propagandize, whatever it took. Don't put it past these people to modify everything, change things, move it out of order, and change the way that things were said, and change the words, and I mean everything. You don't trust a word out of these people's mouths. Look it up for yourself. Okay? So, allegedly, this is the Dominion CEO. I don't even know if this is true.
Truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
So he's taking an oath?
Voting systems are, by design, meant to be used as closed systems that are not networked, meaning they are not connected to the internet.
Colorado is considered one, if not the safest state in.
Okay, now wait a second. So they just got the Dominion CEO testifying under oath that they're not, that the voting machines are not connected to the internet, which I think is a wise decision. I'm fine with that. Don't connect them to the internet. I'm okay with that decision, really. They shouldn't be, in my opinion. Because if it's connected to the internet, it's hackable. That's my rule of thumb, no matter what. That's why cryptocurrencies keep a hot wallet and a cold wallet. The hot wallet is connected to the internet. The cold wallet is disconnected from the internet. So anyways, let's continue listening to these people, see what they have to say here.
To the internet.
Colorado is considered one, if not the safest state in the nation to cast a ballot. None of our voting equipment is connected to the internet.
So, as Secretary Griswold pointed out, voting machines are not connected to the internet for a reason.
On election day in a precinct, are your machines hooked up to the internet?
No, not by any stretch.
Right. They're not connected to the internet. Okay?
We go through a number of certifications, government certifications, and the first one is at a federal level. So those standards mandate that election systems, such as ours...
Dude, are people booing in the background? Is that what's happening? Is that what I'm hearing right now? Booing?
...are designed to work in a closed system, air-gapped, no internet.
Yes, they are booing. You can hear it in the background as he says this.
Closed system, air-gapped, no internet.
Why would you want to get rid of the machine?
Nobody trusts them.
They're tied to the internet, and they work at.
Well, ma'am, they're not tied to the internet.
Yes, they are.
That's Brian Kemp. That's the governor of Georgia right now, Brian Kemp. And these people are not happy with him. I mean, Trump nutcases like Lindell people, not happy with Brian Kemp because he didn't help Trump overturn the election.
What is vehicle for the transmission from the ICP? Is it cellular modem versus VPN?
Well, it is a cellular modem that can be configured in a VPN. Right?
Yeah.
Well, ma'am,
No, hang on. Let me hear that one more time. What was it?
They're not. What is vehicle for the transmission from the ICP? Is it cellular modem versus VPN?
Well, it is a cellular modem that can be configured in a VPN. Right?
Okay, I don't know what an ICP is, but they just talked about a VPN. Yes, it can be configured in a VPN. Okay. Fine. I'm just trying to follow what's being said here in an honest way. Like, what are they trying to get at? I don't understand.
well, ma'am, they're not tied to the internet.
Yes, they're not.
They are.
No, they're not.
Currently in Chicago and Cook County, we work with Verizon to secure that network.
What wireless chipset / modem does the hardware have?
This is private information that should not be public. You know, some information about voting systems just shouldn't be out there. Like, it actually legitimately does make it a lot easier to hack when people know what chipset and stuff. But they're asking what wireless chipset. There is no wireless chipset in these systems because there is no connection to the internet.
That network.
What wireless chipset / modem does the hardware have?
Why would the hardware even have a modem? That makes no sense. That question makes no sense. You're asking what type of network card they have, not what wireless chipset or modem they have. Like, what? You can tell the people asking these questions don't know the first thing about how any of this shit works. He's blown away by the question because it's a stupid fucking question.
We support a variety.
Yeah.
Well, ma'am, they're not tied to the internet.
Yes,
They're not.
they are.
When people talk about certain things, they're undermining our credibility. As an example.
Okay, so he said we support a variety. I feel like that context was completely torn away from the entire thing. Like, I have no idea what they were actually talking about. I have no idea what was happening up to that point or who that person even was or if he's qualified to talk on this stuff or not. The guy obviously wouldn't say our systems are not connected to the internet and then in the next breath say we support a variety of modems. That doesn't make any sense at all. But okay.
When people talk
And why do they keep playing the same stupid clip of Brian Kemp saying they're not connected to the internet? We've seen this like 16 times, okay?
certain things, they're undermining our credibility. As an example, in the state of Wisconsin,
there's a
the
blocker.
voting machines do not connect to the internet.
Oh, come on. They do.
They do.
Okay?
Yeah. Absolutely.
They don't. Okay? They don't. They don't connect to the internet. And honestly, they shouldn't. They should not be connected to the internet. If it's on the internet, it's hackable.
They do not.
The voting machines are not connected to the internet.
Okay, that's good, you guys. That's good. Okay, I want to tell you that this tape goes on. I could play it for a year. You know how many people have told me and others, we're not connected to the internet. We're not connected to the internet.
Give us some proof, Mike. All we need is proof to believe you. That's it. Boom. You got a believer in me once you give me a little bit of proof. Isn't it weird how he never provides that proof for us? Ever? Huh.
Well, I've spent the last year, part of my team has spent the last year, and we have developed a device, and it's not a wide...
Oh, he's announcing his WMD. I mentioned this before. He calls it a wireless monitoring device. Okay, now... really, it's just a box that does nothing pretty much, but detect wireless networks. It's really not hard to do. In fact, it's extremely simple to do. but he thinks this is going to save elections for some reason. And he wants his gullible suckers to buy every one of them that he's produced. Dark Knight says it doesn't matter what answer they give. These people will never believe him. That's true. You're right. Doesn't matter what's said. They will not believe it no matter what. Absolutely.
Wi-Fi sniffer that you can get on at Amazon. I want you to watch this device because this will call out their lie this fall. We've got them around for this fall, but I want you to watch this is part of our plan to call out their lie. If you have the other tape.
See, this is a high production system here.
The Election Crime Bureau is proud to introduce the WMD, or Wireless Monitoring Device. The wireless monitoring device is a sophisticated network connection monitoring system.
No, it's not sophisticated. Finding out what networks there are nearby and if they're mobile networks or not is not sophisticated or complex. But okay, I'm splitting hairs here.
Designed specifically with election security in mind. We have been told that our election computers are never connected to the internet.
Well, we've been told that the voting systems are not connected to the internet. Election computers that send data to like the hubs and all that stuff, I'm sure that they're probably connected to the internet. In fact, schools have connections to the internet. That's part of the deal. I think every school has a connection to the internet, and that's where a lot of voting happens. Churches have internet connections and Wi-Fi networks. And every house within a 5-mile radius probably has a Wi-Fi network too, for that matter. So they're claiming they're going to detect wireless networks that are not mobile devices. And that's going to prove that these devices these machines are connected to the internet. Bad news for you, bro. That's not going to prove anything. That's going to prove that there's a wireless network nearby. Simple as that. There are a billion of them around.
The WMD will put that to the test by detecting and reporting, in real time, Wi-Fi connections in county and state election offices. All internet routers and access...
Dude, why did they get a British person to voice this, first of all? And second, why are they showing me a drone right now? What is this?
Wi-Fi connections in county and state election offices. All internet routers and access points will be reported, as well as any devices to which they connect.
Fine. Okay. No, I don't think you can... No, that's not possible to report the devices that are connected to all wireless access points. That's not possible. You have to be connected to the system yourself before you can access information like that. And even then, it's usually protected. So that's just complete bullshit. But okay.
The WMD incorporates many years of research and state-of-the-art development. It is a low-weight, low-power device that uses only passive signal detection to...
Dude, okay, first of all, this is a 3D printer that they're showing here. I know an obscene amount of information about 3D printing. I ran a store with 14 3D printers for a while. I don't know if you guys were aware of that. Not any longer. Sadly, I had to close the store down. But if you were curious, this is my bedroom back in West Virginia when I was running my 3D printing office. This was when I had this is 12 printers. At that point, that's when I knew I needed to move into an office. So I moved into this office right here and set everything up. And I think I got 2 more printers that I put on the left. There's 14 total. And I was preparing to get a total of 16 and continue the printing. But then all the West Virginia stuff happened. I had to leave in a hurry, and I didn't really have anybody who's qualified to run the store in my stead. So it just, it all fell apart, sadly. But yeah, I printed, here you go. This is when it was in my closet. 3 printers in my closet back in the day. And then I had, here's an example of what I printed. A stand for Sega Game Gear games. I did, I printed stuff for all types of different things, Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color, and I even printed like controller stands and N64 game stands, whole 9 yards. And they were between, depending on the like this stand right here, I think this stand costs like, I don't know, $8-10 or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I used to. I know a lot about 3D printing, a lot. Everything there is to know. I'm an expert in 3D printing, just put it that way. Moved into the office right here. This is the office. These are not naturally rigged up with lights. I rigged those lights up myself. I'm an expert in 3D printing. I don't think that my expertise is going to be challenged here, but that's what he's showing. In this video, he's showing 3D printing. That's what's happening here. It's an FDM printer. It's not a resin printer, but okay.
Years of research and state-of-the-art development.
State-of-the-art development, he says. Yeah, my printers were $250 each. You know how much I spent on filament? I was bringing in about $8,000 a month and putting out about $7,000 a month in supply, rent, things like that, overhead. So I was making about $1,000 a month off of my 3D printing business that I was running. And I was paying $900 for a big spool, a gigantic spool of 25 kilograms of 3D filament back in the day. $900 for 25 kilograms. And I would buy 2 of those per month. At my height, I think. 2 per month. $1,800 on filament. And I would turn that into $8,000. Of course, again, lots of overhead. I had to pay employees and stuff, so I made almost nothing with it. But it was still fun. I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. I'm wondering what you mean by the WV situation. I lived in a small town of 3,500 people. And my kid was in health class where the teacher basically railed against atheists and said atheists are evil and you can't be moral without God and blah, 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 blah. And we turned her into the superintendent's office, the Board of Education, and they sided with her. And then the entire town came after us and was trying to burn our house down. And shit, looking for ways to kill us. I'm not joking. 2,000 people out of 3,400 that lived in the town were on a Facebook page. I was even on a gas station. Oh my God, there's a newspaper article written about it. Hold on. Can't believe you didn't know about this. Hold on. I framed the newspaper article because f them. That's why. It's like in Good Will Hunting where he said his dad would put down a wrench, a belt, and what was the other thing he put down? A wrench, a belt, and something else. And he told him to choose one, and he always chose the wrench. And he said, why'd you choose the wrench? I would have chose the belt. And he said, because f him, that's why. I've got this newspaper article framed because fuck them, that's why. It tells the story, everything that happened, basically, of them trying to burn my house down. I mean, the newspaper article was not friendly toward me in the least bit. But here, just take a look right here. This is a gas station in the area right here that said Team Ashworth. That was the name of the teacher, Team Ashworth. I passed I don't know how many gas stations. I had to wear a hood and a mask until we got out of town. And I kept going into Walmart's as we drove and checking to see if they had my newspaper with my name in it and everything. It was fucking scary. But luckily, you guys all came together, pitched in, and helped me. More than I deserved, more than you can ever know. You helped me. You donated. You did GoFundMes. You sent money to my PayPal. You helped me get out of West Virginia. I couldn't have done it without you. Really, I couldn't have done it without you guys. I couldn't. Anyway, like I said, they tried to burn my house down. That was the plan. There was an active plan in place where they were trying to burn my house down. There was conveniently, just shortly before that, there was conveniently a gas leak under my house. I don't know how it happened or who made it or what. I don't know. But anyways, there were rumblings, people talking about burning my house down up to that point. Shouldn't take crowdsourcing to escape domestic terrorists. No, it shouldn't. But I made it through the other side. And you know what? The whole point of this is that I'm an expert in 3D printing. An expert. I don't use the word expert lightly. Okay? You guys should know that. I don't consider myself a cult expert. I'm an expert at 3D printing. I know what I'm doing with 3D printing. And what they're showing here is an FDM printer. And they're just full of shit. They're just showing stock footage. You have no idea what they're talking about or what they're doing. It's a joke.
State-of-the-art development. It is a low-weight, low-power device that uses only passive signal detection to detect online systems, and it will never interfere with any normal network operations.
Is it just me, or first of all, is it just me, or does it sound like they used an AI to make this, like, this happen or whatever? And second, yeah, that's a good point. What if it interferes with other network operations? I'd be a little worried about that. It's kind of weird.
When an online...
That's called murder plans. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They actually did plan... There were plans to murder me. I tried to hire bodyguards, and they were on the side of the extremists. They said, go f*** yourself, basically. I called the police for help. They were also on the side of the extremists. So I got a baseball bat and sat outside on my porch and waited. Wait for somebody to come up on me. Anybody. I just wanted it to happen. Come on. Anybody. But nobody... I mean, I had like 100 cars going by my house honking their horns every time they went by, letting me know that they were there and they knew who I was and they were looking for an opportunity. But nobody ever actually got out of their car and did something. All for reporting a teacher for violating my kids' First Amendment rights. What the fuck? Anyway, I'm just glad to live in New York City. This place is a dream. Best place ever. Much, much better than Milton, West Virginia by a mile. Anyways, yeah, this is an FDM printer. That's the point. Let's keep listening.
Normal network operations. When an online connection is detected, the Election Crime Bureau Master Alert System will be quickly notified, and the alert will be displayed on the alert web page.
Okay, well, here's the thing about how this works. There are wireless... Okay, this... Mike Lindell said in another video, it wasn't this one, it was a previous one I watched, it has a range of 300 feet, about 100 meters. That's what he said. And that matches up with wireless networks. Yeah, they have a range of, give or take, certain types of wireless networks, depending on what it is. 802.11bg or whatever. They have a range of about 300 feet. Sure. I mean, that's a little far, but okay. The average house is 40 to 60 feet long and 20 to 30 feet wide. You think this isn't going to pick up some randos networks? And yeah, of course, these schools, these churches, these libraries are going to have networks. Are you kidding me? Yes, there will be networks you detect, of course. What does that prove? There are networks. We're trying to prove that voting machines have connections to networks, not that networks exist. What? And now we've got, they're just showing like a picture of a siren and a field, okay.
You will note that there are two boxes located to the right of the screen. These boxes display the information about the access points at the top and the wireless clients at the bottom box.
Okay, hang on. I gotta understand. What are they talking about?
Note that there are two boxes located to the right of the screen.
I assume they're talking about these boxes here. The boxes that are illegible. I can't even make out what they say. All right.
These boxes display the information about the access points at the top and the wireless clients at the bottom box.
Okay, so access point. When they're saying access point, they're saying these devices, the WMDs, wireless monitoring devices, they're saying they display information about the access point, which is the wireless network. They display information about the wireless network, like the router or whatever, on the top, and then they display information about what's connected to that router on the bottom. No, they don't. No, they don't. Not unless you're connected to the network. And even then, you have to be granted special access on the network to be allowed to access that information. You can't just go snooping around and find what's connected to what on a network. It doesn't work that way. You cannot access information like what is connected to a wireless network unless you're connected to that wireless network and it allows you access to that information. It's not how it works.
The sheer amount...
I mean, unless it's hacking. Are you telling me that it's hacking these systems? Is that what's happening? Is Mike Lindell building a hacking system?
The sheer amount of devices can make analyzing the map difficult, so this website gives you the opportunity to deselect any of the different kinds of devices.
To deselect any of the different kinds of devices. Okay. So there's a website that corresponds with the WMD or whatever, and you can deselect certain devices, and I guess whichever devices are left over that you haven't deselected, those are the evil devices that are like out to get everybody or something?
Note that the points on the map are color-coded to simplify identification. As we deselect and update, those types of devices are removed from the map. Clicking on a device shown on the map displays additional information about that device in the bottom information window. Currently, the MAC address, the hardware vendor, and the first time the device was detected displays.
I mean, as long as you're connected to the network and allowed access to that information, yes. But these networks are very, very secure anyways. So, first of all, oh, there we go. I got my seed money. First of all, these systems are not connected to the internet. Second, your WMD wouldn't be able to detect even if they were. You live in a fantasy land, okay?
Additional information will be continually added. The nearby checkbox allows you to view only the devices with the strongest signal, which in most cases means that they are nearest to the WMD detection device. This allows you to filter out devices outside of the immediate area. All information is securely archived for later analysis. The wireless...
there you go. So they're just going to archive all the information, and then they're going to find some way to make it so that it actually was them taking advantage of whatever, or tricking people into blah, 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 or whatever the hell they're talking about. God, these people live in a fantasy land, dude. I don't know what else to call this, honestly.
Monitoring device is ready to be deployed in any election, from local to presidential.
Okay, everybody.
So that was his unveiling of the WMD, his wireless monitoring device. It's nonsense. All of it. The whole thing is nonsense. He's just trying to make money off of gullible suckers and succeeding gloriously. Does it get more sad than this? Honestly. These people will believe anything.
So thank you. When we played that, and there's, by the way, you see in the media, Mike Lindell is going to drop drones over Louisiana. Not true. These are not with drones. We at my event, we had them brought in with drones for effect, right? So imagine this device.
Okay, his audio sync is off. I'm going to have to... God, it's going to be a nightmare actually syncing his audio when I do the edits on this. I'm going to have to do his job for him and sync the stupid audio.
If you're a county clerk and you've been lied to by machine companies saying they're not online, now you have one of these devices and everything else in the room that's online, it takes them out of the picture. So
okay, this device does not prove anything. It doesn't prove that they're online, doesn't prove that you've been lied to, doesn't prove any of that stuff. You live in a fantasy land, Mike, and you're trying to drag everybody into that fantasy land with you. It's honestly sad. Pull it together, brother, please.
You got your router, you got your polling book, your printer, all the stuff for our elections. You have them. And with those devices, or with this, it detects them, and then it will, boom, send up, this is online, right when it goes online. Now it goes back to a command center I have, and then it comes back, and it'll show all of you at home, it'll show all of you that, phone ringing in my ear. Yeah, but it'll show all of you, you'll be able to sit, and I'm going to show you that in a second, how you can watch it in your own neighborhood. All of a sudden, red alert, it's like Ghostbusters. Beep, 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 we got one, right?
Just stupid. Beep, beep, beep. We got one what? A network that exists in a polling center? Is anybody surprised that a network exists at like a church or whatever? I'm blown away that he's surprised by that. Of course, networks exist in churches and stuff. This guy lives in a constant delusion, and it's really sad, man.
And here's a machine went online. So you have that part of that. That's just part of the plan, everybody. So we can...
Oh, it's part of the plan. Okay, he's got more to the plan, apparently. All right, go on.
Catch him in that. Now... I have what's called, if we put that other screen up there, okay, go down to the bottom, go one more page. There you go.
Top tier editing, people, okay? This is top tier editing right here. This is top tier production work. By the by, I'm going to use the magical lamp here. This may not be a wise decision right now, but I'm going to save. Fire magic, ice magic... We're good. Thunder magic. Okay. Nothing left to do but use a magical lamp, right? This is how you get a GF, and he can be hard to beat if you don't know what you're doing. Of course, I like to cheat, so I'm going to cheat. But I actually do know what I'm doing here. I'm going to cheat so that I can draw Demi from him, because Demi is really valuable at this point in the game. Anyway, let's keep listening here.
Here's what I have set up. Okay, you see the first time, the real-time election monitoring. If you all need to do this, download FrankSocial.com. I set up an election app there. FrankSocial.com, very important, okay? What you're going to see there is you're going to...
That he's just, like, plugging his app now, FrankSocial, okay? You know what? I'm going to download it right now. I'm going to get it. Let's just download this app here. Hang on. FrankSocial, all right? I've thought about making an app. That'd be cool, right? Provide information on different cults. Act as like a database where it kind of talks about them, and maybe help you determine if yours is one of those cults or something. I don't know. Maybe create a Wikipedia page. Ooh, that'd be good, where people can add to it. Add their cult or add their group, and I can like fact check and make sure that it's accurate. That'd be really cool, right? I should totally make an app. What was it? FrankSocial, right? Is this it? FrankSocial? Okay, so we have Frank Speech and we have FrankSocial. They're different apps apparently. All right, let's get FrankSocial and let's get Frank Speech. Double click to install. Oh my God, the United States Constitution is trying to get... No, I don't want that one. Cancel. It's probably taken, right? God, I have to enter my email, my phone number. Really? I'm not doing that. See, here's the problem. I've got to give them my information, like my phone number, or they won't let me get access to this information. This is how they filter out the fakes. Like the right stuff. You know that right-wing dating app? I was trying to get access to that right-wing dating app And I wasn't allowed access because I wasn't right-wing enough, apparently. I don't know. You need a special invite or something. Super sad, man. All right. Well, for the moment, I guess I'm not going to be able to get access to FrankSocial, his app or whatever. But one of these days, I'll get access. And we'll see what happens. Dude, are you kidding me? I have 34 Demi with Squall. He just doesn't want to draw. All right, well, I guess I'm just going to attack and draw. Attack and draw. Might as well, why not? All right, let's keep listening here.
Okay, stream of it. Okay, and not just these machines, but also anything going on in your country, anything going on in your county, anything going on in your neighborhood. And you're going to say, well, where does this information come from? Well, I'm going to tell you that right now.
It comes from Mike's imagination. That's where it comes from. Doesn't come from anywhere.
Over 300,000 people on the ground called Cause of America. They've been working hard. A lot of them just working for nothing, have quit their jobs because they love our country.
They've quit their jobs because they love our country, and they're working for free for me. I'm not paying them a goddamn fucking dime. And they're working for me anyways. Because they love our country. No, it sounds like they love you, you nutcase. Not the country. You. It's about you and what you can get out of these people. That's kind of messed up, right? Is it just me?
And what they've done, they're the ones that went in and they canvassed and they've tried to get law changes, went in.
Somebody said, but this isn't Frank, it's Mike. Right, exactly. Why is it that... Why did he pick the name Frank's Speech? I think it's because Frank's speech was supposed to be, it was like honest speech. It was supposed to be kind of framed like that. Like Frank also means honest. Let me be frank with you, let me be honest with you. And it was intended to be like Donald Trump's social media network. Mike Lindell was trying to step in and be the social media network that Donald Trump wanted. But Trump intelligently, in my opinion, did not let Mike take any kind of position as the leader of anything at all. I would not have either. I definitely think it was a wise decision on Trump's part to control his own social media network, basically. But anyway, I think that's where it started. Sorry. But anyway, I think that's where it started. He named his system Frank's Speech originally, and then it was Frank Everything after that, I believe. It's kind of like his brand now, Frank Everything. Frank Speech, Frank TV, Frank blah, 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 whatever.
Some of them to these county officials and say, we want these machines gone. But now, when they find something, let's say they find, say they're in a neighborhood, and you find out that this Amy lives by herself, and it says 8 people voted there. Because remember, we have every voter roll in the United States.
You shouldn't. That is not something people should have access to. And you also shouldn't have access to who lives where. Isn't that against the law for him to have access to that stuff?
All that information where it shows that 8 people voted there. And then they go, wait a minute. You go there and you find out it was just her. And the other 7 don't live there. In fact, they don't even live in the state. And 3 of them aren't alive. Okay? So all this...
Yeah, this claim that Mike is making right now was investigated by the FBI and by Bill Barr, and the highest levels of government investigated this. And it was found to be complete garbage all along. This never happened. Okay, there were a couple of examples of a guy who voted for his dead wife, and they found him out. Voted for his dead wife. The FBI correlated death certificates with voting records, and they found examples of this, and, charged him with a crime after that. There was no systemic effort to change the results using that method. And if there were, it would have been uncovered by Bill Barr and by Donald Trump's FBI, who desperately wanted to find evidence of it. It just didn't happen, okay?
information comes in to this social FrankSocial app. You can go to every single state has a Cause of America and then your state. So in Nevada, you would go Cause of America Nevada in that app, and you're going to see, if you want to watch news in your state, everything that's going on in your elections in your state, in your backyard.
I should really get a burner phone with a fake phone number and, download all of this fake garbage and pretend that I'm using it. That'd be fascinating, right? To go through this whole process. I should totally do that. That'd be really interesting.
Reporting that's coming in. Remember, they've had whistleblower apps before, but I had one. I had to call in MikeLindellCrime.com, whatever. Well, the problem is you had everybody and their brother, and you had bad people reporting fake crime, right? Fake.
Oh, kind of like the VAERS system, right? Dude's always talking about vaccine injuries and all that other garbage. And the VAERS system is literally like anybody can report anything. There is no limitation. There's no way to filter out, you don't have to be a doctor to report anything at all. So, yeah, there were a bunch of Trump supporters reporting a bunch of garbage on the VAERS system, which was originally intended for doctors, but there's really no limitation on who can do it. What he's describing is exactly what happened on the right to a ton of these systems.
LindellCrime.com, whatever. Well, the problem is you had everybody and their brother, and you had bad people reporting fake crime, right? Fake things. So by having my trusted group, the Cause of America, out there, and they have an app where they can take pictures. You'll see pictures of real-time crime. I'm going to give you an example of something, and this is a big communication thing, which is really important.
Please, big communication thing he's got to lay down for us. All right, let me in on this aforementioned big communication thing you keep referring to.
When Carrie Lake had her election, when I woke up on November 9th of 2022, the last election, when I woke up, I was so happy to hear all the machines in Nevada, all the machines in Arizona, 262 of them, they weren't accepting ballots. Even Fox News was reporting.
No, that's complete nonsense. Of course, even Fox News was blah, 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 as if Fox News is, they don't report on anything bad that's happening or some other nonsense. This dude lives in a fantasy. Aside from that, there were 11 ballot feeders that the people were trying to feed their ballots in, and they weren't going in for some reason. So they just pull them out, they bring in another, or they simply hand count the ballot, write the number down, and boom, they're done. There was no secret cabal working behind the scenes to sabotage blah, 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 whatever like this. It's just, God, this guy lives in a fantasy. Insane. 11 ballot readers in Arizona, in all of Arizona, had trouble reading ballots. So they were replaced with ones that could read ballots. They broke, basically. 11 of them had trouble. They didn't work properly. So they brought in new ones. All this stuff has been counted and counted and counted over and over and over and over again. This has all been litigated and established 1,000 times over. There is nothing special about any of this stuff. There's nothing amazing about this. There's nothing unique or secretive or anything about any of this. Mike Lindell lives in a fantasy land. Okay? Simply put, he lives in a fantasy.
I'm going, yes, we finally got them. Even Fox is talking about getting, about the machines, not getting rid of them because they're in on it. That's what I think.
You're aiming to get sued again, Mike. These types of words are what got you sued the first time. You sure you want to go down this road a second time? Okay.
Anyway, I'll probably get sued for saying that, too.
Yeah, for making a direct claim about something like that. I don't know. Defamation is really hard to prove. I mean, he made a lot of direct claims about, about Dominion and Smartmatic that turned out to be false. And claimed them as though they were truth claims, and he knew that they were false. So that's what that's kind of the barrier of entry. That's what you need to do to prove defamation, which he most definitely committed. So anyway,
I don't care. Did I say something bad about Fox?
I don't think that. I mean, he said it. That's what happened, in my opinion. By saying that, are you kidding? Do I have to pay another? I already bought this ticket. Do I have to buy it again? I should be able to just go in. Dude, I have to pay the ticket price again. That's fucking stupid. Yeah, I think the way that Mike phrased it, it kind of makes him safe from litigation. I don't think he has anything to worry about based on how it was phrased. That's just my opinion.
So put it on the pile of lawsuits. And they
Mike, I don't think I'd be laughing about that. That's real, bro. You're in real shit right now. You're dealing with some real stuff as a direct result of those lawsuits and everything.